And they laugh. I will convince you that this is a good idea. You might not use her as your lawyer. I certainly would not. But there are people who would. This is her on the cover of Vogue magazine. Inside, she goes on to it. She reveals that she started a started her 4-year apprenticeship at this law firm in San Francisco. It's going to take place, excuse me, she's gonna take something called the baby bar. The bar exam. No, you laugh. By the way, our friend Van Jones, that's his law firm. Yeah, the hot black guy. Anyway, he's married. Anyway, so she's gonna take the baby bar next summer, and if she passes that, she will take the real bar in 3 years. Well, there are 4 states in our country where you don't have to go to law school. I did not know that. California happens to be one of those places. Can you believe that? Who is defending our rights? Well, I think that this is a good idea. She's already defended the woman who's wrongfully accused and then got out of jail regarding the drugs. Kim knows our president on a personal basis. She's been to the White House. She, I guess this is what she'll wear to court when she defends you. She also defended the man who could not find housing. Nobody would give him housing. She got him housing. She paid for many, many months or a year of the rent or the lease or the mortgage or whatever it was. Look, I gotta tell you something. There are a lot of people who are gonna wanna use her. Follow what I'm saying. The people right now who you think of when you think of judges are like older with gray hair. Judges now are, 35 and, they're younger. They're a part of the keeping up with the Kardashian era. I mean, heck, we're a part of it. For those of us who are older than 40, we follow it. You know you do, even though you might not want to admit it. Admit it? I mean, admit it? You might not want to admit it, but you follow. And so at the firm, she wants to defend, her thing is gonna be human rights, human rights. Why not? Somebody's, yes. This, I guess, she's setting up for the next phase of her career while she still does, her selfies and dresses down to almost nothing. The question is, will she be a distraction in the courtroom? Gee, you think? But will she be in the courtroom? Because some of my colleagues in this morning's Hot Topics meeting were saying, well, she probably won't be in the courtroom. What time do you think she has for the courtroom? She's filming the show and she's busy getting naked. And keeping an eye on Kanye. I do think that she'll be going to the courtroom, like in appearances and stuff like that. She'll probably always have the cameras with her in the courtroom, filming for the show. And even when she doesn't film for the show, certainly there's enough blogosphere out here that it doesn't always have to be on the show for us to find out what she's doing, The types of people who'll be using her, I think that people with hit and runs, slip and falls. No. You laugh at that, that is big business. That's big business these days. That's big business. People need a lawyer, And I think that Kim will defend things like that. I do think that she'll have an office, a big, gorgeous office in the law firm where she will see her clients and they'll eat salad with plastic forks and hold their fork the way, the whole family holds their fork the same way. Norman and I always joke about
right.
And with all the dishes in the cabinet, they're always drinking out of plastic cups with that top on it and the straw. So she'll be entertaining in her office and trying to figure out what you're doing, but guess what? At the law firm, I'll bet you there are 20 lawyers who legitimately went to law school, who probably graduated at the top of their class, who will be feeding Kim information. And I do think that she will be able to get cases. I think that this is a good thing. I think that the only profession left where you cannot skate around it is a doctor. This is why I love doctors. This is why, all of you doctors aren't correct. A lot of you have done things like, leave the peppermint in the body and then sewn it up. Shout out to all my Seinfeld fans. You know what episode we're talking about. Jerry and Kramer watched an operation and they were sitting up in the gallery seats and they're watching down and Kramer's watching with a snack, right? And all of a sudden the Thin Mint falls out and falls right into an open wound on Seinfeld. And then the surgeons don't see it and they sew it up. And so the big calamity with Jerry and Kramer is, do we tell the surgeons or not? They didn't end up telling the surgeons. So everything inside, I guess, of this patient is minty. By the way, the episode I saw last night, I'm sorry, off topic, on Seinfeld, Jerry got shot. The FBI was in his apartment because he stole cable. Kramer arranged for him to get with this guy who stole cable for Jerry. Jerry acted like he didn't know, but Jerry really did know. Well, Jerry was out of town telling jokes. When he came back into his apartment, the FBI is there. They show their badges. You see all the cable wires, and Jerry is lying to them saying, I know nothing. So Jerry decides, and I'm like, come on, Seinfeld, where are you going? I came to you for laughter. Please, no shooting. I'll be damned. Look, Jerry turns around to run for the door to escape into the streets of New York. Before he gets to the door, they shot him at least 20 times, including one bullet in the heart. They shot him in the back. Jerry's body is flailing. He falls to the ground. Then he wakes up, he's on a plane. Jerry's on a plane. There was a dream. Yeah, those hottest makeup trends are coming up. In the meantime, Jennifer Lopez, everybody. The woos are getting lower. It's kind of like you want to woo, but she's everywhere. It becomes a little sickening sometimes, in a good way. In a good way. Well, anyway, this is what happened. She posted a selfie on her Instagram. And Puffy, it's a good one, right? It's a good one, it's a good one. Oh, Jen, damn you. She went on this diet. It's called the 10-day challenge. That's where you don't eat sugar, you don't eat meat, you don't eat much of anything. If the results are this, then great. She went on this 10-day challenge, and then she posted this picture on Instagram, and then Puffy commented by saying, OMG, with the heart eye emoji. You see right there. What's the oh and what's the wow? Everybody's moved on with their lives. You guys. So then A-Rod, her fiance, they're not married yet, commented on it afterwards, and A-Rod said, lucky me. So, clap if you think it's out of order that Puffy posted. I don't. I mean, and A-Rod clapped, or it was not even a clap back. A-Rod responded back after he saw that so many people were responding to the picture and Puffy's comment. A-Rod did not respond back right away. He waited a moment for, the comments to build up. I don't think that there was a need for an apology from, because Puffy apologized back, saying, oh man, or whatever. Puffy apologized. So Puffy did two, and then A-Rod did one. I don't think that it was necessary for an apology. I also don't think it was necessary for Puffy to post. I don't think it was necessary for A-Rod to post. I think that when she puts a picture up, both guys should stay out of it. And Puffy, what do you care? You hit it first. What do you care? And if it wasn't for your rapper artist at that time and that pesky 11 traffic light run through the streets of New York, you might be married to her at this point. Puffy, so what do you care? A-Rod, what do you care? You got her. And Jennifer, you continue to work these men. She does. She works them. on Trendy at Wendy, you know, we love giving away like masks and stuff. We love all that beauty stuff here. And we gave away this mask that, or showed you this mask that you put over your face and then it dissolves in like a half hour, which is perfect. I did it last night when Denise Richards entered Housewives in Beverly Hills. Like, look, I love Saint Denise. You know, she's a friend to the show. I call her Saint Denise because she got with Charlie Sheen during the bad boy days. Well, I think he's still having them, I'm not sure. During the bad times of his life, and she obviously had bad times in her life at that time because like attracts like, you know, Denise, don't act like, but you cleaned up real well. So she went on, she takes care of Charlie's kids that she had with him. She has her own kids, she loves her family and the whole bit. And now she's on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I think is terrible casting. Well, because you have to get into it, like you have to have a storyline. You know, Vanderpump, you might not like her or maybe you love her, but she keeps the pot stirring. Lisa Rinna has proven to be my favorite housewife. I like Teddy, I like all those girls. They keep that pot stirring, and Denise just isn't really part of the fray. So she's trying to build a storyline, so here's what she does. And by the way, this is just about the time that my mask was doing its thing. And I ran the shower to make sure it's nice and hot, and I pulled out my, my white strips and my toothbrush and stuff, because when she comes in, I just have no reason to stay in the room. So, she found a way to keep tabs on her 15-year-old daughter. This is her storyline, okay? Her daughter is 15. This is the daughter that she has with Charlie Sheen. While you're watching this scene, and you'll eventually see the daughter too, take a look to see if she looks like Charlie. I think she looks like Charlie. Take a look. Anyway, take a look.
So you're putting the cameras up?
Yeah. So this covers this whole area here. Anybody opens that door, we'll see it.
So we'll be able to see people sneak out or sneak in.
Sammy's getting into high school and new school, new boys. That's when kids usually start sneaking out.
You can't date until you're 16 years old.
You guys are so freaking strict. Oh my God.
I started sneaking out when I was 15 years old. So I know my kid's gonna sneak out, so I'm putting cameras up so I can catch her.
Ridiculous. Like, Denise, you don't need the money. We already know who you are. Why are you on the show? Listen, let's just talk about the cameras. The cameras are ridiculous. Why do people put cameras inside of their house? I have no idea. What are you trying to watch? Okay, you put the camera in the baby room for the baby monitor, but then, you know, a bad nanny can choke your child in the garage. You spend all that money, you get the cameras installed behind a teddy bear to put in your living room to make sure that your kids aren't coming home from school and having pill parties. In the meantime, they take the pills in your room. You know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to keep up with what our kids are doing these days. The best thing you can do is just hope that we're teaching them the best, and just remember, whatever is done in the dark eventually comes to the light. Right? Like when I was a kid back in the olden days, my parents never gave me a curfew. They never gave me a curfew. You know, they just, you know, you leave the house when you leave the house, whether it's 7 o'clock in the evening or 9 o'clock at night. And I guess the curfew in a lot of parents' head, and probably still today, is midnight. You know, for your 10th grader or even your 9th grader. I mean, when they start high school, it's pretty much, you know, midnight. But if they come, or street lights, exactly. Well, some parents have that. We didn't have street lights. We had underground wiring in the neighborhood. The street lights would come on quite late. Like when the summer is really in full bloom, it doesn't get dark until like 9 o'clock at night. You could have been pregnant by then. You know what I'm saying? But this is what me and my crew used to do. Leslie Goldman, she was the one with the classic Mustang with the top down. Me, Leslie, Liz Sueda, Diane Van Note, we had the crew. And then there was the beautiful Jersey Shore where I grew up. I grew up in Ocean Township. I would walk out of the house respectfully, right? Dressed in my regular, you know, khakis and an Izod shirt. I would have my slutty clothes in the mailbox. right? Like, you know, that flimsy material, it's like next to nothing. You roll it up like this, you put it in the mailbox along with the red lipstick. Because when you're a young girl, you think the mark of a woman is wearing red lipstick. And we drive up to the Joe Green's gas station up on Asbury Avenue and changing the bathroom. And when the party was over and my tank was good and full, partying, I'd come in the house somewhere around midnight, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, and my parents would just listen for me to come in, and it would be nobody waiting at the door or any questions. I'd fall asleep real fast on account of my tank is full. And wake up the next morning perfectly civilized. Good morning, Mommy. Good morning, Daddy. Stuff hasn't changed much. The kids are still sneaking around, and all those cameras are ridiculous, Denise, and that's a storyline that's not worth watching. Just saying. Lindsay Lohan is very upset with the actress. Come on, give Lindsay a chance. She's very upset and slamming the actress Lea Michele. You know Lea Michele, she was from Glee. Lea can sing her behind off. She's got a really great body. And I think she's like an odd beauty, you know. Some people think she's beautiful, some people think she's not. I think she's gorgeous and very talented. Very talented. Anyway. So Disney has just announced that Lea will play Ariel in the stage version of The Little Mermaid. Yes. You see where I'm going with this, but Lindsay, okay. So Lindsay got the news, and then she was like, she posted on her social media, huh? Huh? Lindsay has always said that she dreamed of playing Ariel one day. She said this before. I mean, you can go back in interviews where she said this before, even as a little Lindsay, even as a grown woman Lindsay, she has said this. This is a stage production. It's going to be at the Hollywood Bowl, which holds tons of people. The thing with the stage production, it's live. It's like doing live TV. If you don't show up, then everybody's screwed. So, you know, Lindsay, I think it's too soon for people to really count on you for a live situation. I do. You know? I mean, Lindsay, you know, when you were a bad girl, you were a really bad girl. You were eluding cops and doing drugs. And my own son and I sat behind you at American Idol. This is back when Ellen was on it. I told you this story. And when you got up, a white powdery substance. I saw it myself. My son is like, what's that? I had to say, it's baby powder. It's baby powder. And excuse me. It might have been baby powder, but this is during Lindsay's bad times, and she kept getting up and going to the bathroom. And let me tell you something. It wasn't just a little bit of powder. Her ankles were plenty, like the vamp of her shoe and all around her ankles and everything. Yes, both shoes, a powdery. So much so that when she stood up and walked, there were footprints. Listen, look, we all love baby powder, and we've all had a past. You know, we've all had a past, and we all deserve to make a new lives of good for ourselves. And, but I don't think that she's ready for the Hollywood Bowl. It's a big, giant production, and people pay insurance, and people are counting on you. You're not ready to be a star at the Hollywood Bowl. However, they are making a movie version of this, separate from this Hollywood Bowl version. And Lindsay, I think that you should audition. Yes. I think that you should audition. I mean, you're a walking Ariel even when you're not dressed up as Ariel. And yes, Ariel, the character, does have to sing. I know what you're saying. Well, Lindsay can't sing. Well, yes, she can. Who remembers? Daughter to father, daughter to father. That was her hit on the radio. Don't you clap if you remember Daughter to Father, Lindsay. Song. Look, when you do a movie, you can be a couple of minutes late. They still wait for you. It doesn't matter if you're a little bit late. Everybody's a little bit late sometimes, but Lindsay, you have to be late and be responsible with clarity to get there. You've got to submit to their drug test if that's what they want to do, if they're challenging you, you know. You've got to submit to whatever they're doing, and you've got to prove them wrong. And by the way, they can always dub over the voice when they sing, you know. Good luck, Lindsay, and congratulations to Lea Michele. Chris Witherspoon and his teeth are here. We're friends. Hi, Chris. He's up in his green room right now. He's ready to come down. He's got the most gorgeous smile. But when he's talking, listen to what he's saying. He's got the summer's hottest movie previews, and he knows a lot. Anyway, when you think of Patti LaBelle, you don't think of Chinese food, do you? No. Well, everybody loves Chinese food. Everybody loves Chinese food. Patti has a new food line coming out, and it's focusing on Chinese food. Now, hold on. You know her for her pies. Everybody loves a sweet potato pie but me. I don't, sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie. Anyway, it's gonna be frozen food by Patti LaBelle. It's Chinese food. I would give it a whirl. If you're in your grocer's freezer, why not give it a whirl? See what it tastes like. It probably tastes pretty good. Patti LaBelle is a very good cook. She cooks in her own time. She takes her own pots and pans on the road when she's on tour. She doesn't accept the freebies that they're giving to her in the green room and stuff. She brings her own stuff. She can cook. Hey, Patti, good luck. Send me some of that Chinese food. I'll taste it. Hey, we've got more great show for you, everybody. Up next, Chris is here with the hottest spring movies. So grab a snack and come on back.